All right, welcome back, students. Chapter 2, Strategy and Information Systems. We're going to be doing something a little different this week. We're not actually going to be looking at the PowerPoint, although I recommend you still download the PowerPoint, review it, and read the chapter. I just want to take some time to go over a little more in depth one of our ethics guides for this chapter. If this was an in-person class, this would be a very long discussion. We'd all go back and forth with our opinions, but I want to try to substitute some of that with a one-way instructor-led conversation. I also want to introduce you to hopefully what you find a very valuable resource, quickmba.com. I do have a link for this for Chapter 2, specifically for Porter's 5 Forces. The chapter does introduce you to this concept. It may be new to you. You may have talked about Porter's 5 Forces before, and the book does a great job of explaining it. However, quickmba.com also does a great job. And I've always found that when you're trying to learn new concepts, it really helps you to get multiple viewpoints on it and visit multiple sources. So hopefully quickmba.com is something that you like, you bookmark it, and you keep this kind of in your back pocket as you continue down your undergraduate, and even if you plan on doing your MBA down the road. Anytime you find the new concept, go to QuickMBA, search for it, see if they have a great article. They really go in depth on a lot of things and have some really good real world practical examples. So the ethics guide I wanted to go over is on page 42 in your text, and it's called The Lure of Lovebots. Like I said, if this was an in-person class, this would probably be a whole day of conversation back and forth. But really, to sum it up, there's a online dating company that is losing subscribers and, of course, losing revenue. One of their employees came up with a great idea. Let's have bots, artificial intelligence, interact with our subscribers to imitate real interactions. The website has a demographic of 15% of their subscribers are female and 85% of them are male. Just those numbers alone, it would be hard to convince most of those 85% of men to keep paying every month for a service where statistically they're not going to get much interaction with females or any meaningful interaction. So let's have these bots, this artificial intelligence, interact with these guys, have small talk, like pictures. It's not going to be in depth. It's not going to substitute real human interaction, but it might be enough to convince them that there is some hope on this website to keep paying every month, that they actually might meet somebody to go out on a real date with. Now, this is a little extreme example. I mean, do dating sites do this? I don't know. We're not going to talk about that. But will you be encountered with decisions for a company that go against your ethics? Yeah, you probably will. And of course, this isn't a business ethics class. If you have not taken that yet, please sign up for it. It'll be incredibly interesting and something you will use regardless of your major. Companies want to make money. That is the whole point of it. The company is not making money. It's not going to exist, and it's not doing anything for its customers. But how we go about making that money speaks volumes for the business, and it speaks volumes for the ethics of their employees. So you're posed with a couple questions here, and I really encourage you to read over these questions and put a lot of thought into it. The biggest one is, would you leave this company? Would you resign because they want to have bots interact with people to mimic real human interaction? Is this moral? Is it wrong? We can examine this a couple ways, and this is where, in class person-to-person discussion would be fun, to say the least. I think you can probably argue it for both sides. You could say that, well, there's 85% men and 15% female. Statistically, most of those men will never go on a real date with those 15% of women. And also, the vast majority of the 85% of men probably won't even have a conversation with those women. So what's the harm? They were never going to have an end result. So sure, we'll milk a couple more months out of them for pay, and eventually they'll lose interest. You can easily argue against it that, well, we are literally tugging at people's hearts. You could have a bot with a picture of an attractive female on there that's going around randomly interacting with men who aren't having any real conversations. And yeah, you're getting individuals' hopes up, and you are literally trying to play Cupid for no result. There is no end game on it. Um, think about this. I even encourage you to bring this scenario up with your friends and family just to get different takes on it. It's interesting. It's very interesting what people will say about this. But this also goes into more ethics of AI. Artificial intelligence is becoming more and more accessible to almost any organization. You don't need a lot of capital or large banks of supercomputers to have meaningful and useful AI. Obviously, having love bots is a little different, but we can use AI for advertising to help hone in and really target ads per user's demographic, usage, location, how much money you have in your bank account. I'm sure all of you have thought that, my phone must be listening to me because I said I need some new shoes, and now I'm seeing all these ads for shoes. Well, depending on the settings on your phone, if you have location on and some of the apps that you have and the way those apps access your data, some of those ads could be disturbingly good at how they target you. A while ago, I had an ad, just something pop up on Amazon for Crocs. I bought new Crocs for my son. I saw Crocs pop up. Not only was it blue, which I have a lot of blue clothes, but they were also my size. Now you can easily say, well, Amazon knows your size, all that information's there, and it is. It's amazing all the data that companies have on you. But putting all that data together and making an ad that is timely and relatable to that person at that time, is that an invasion of privacy? What if we throw GPS on top of it? What if you were seeing ads for items that you may be interested in based on stores that are close to you, and we can throw a sale on top of that? These are things that marketing is working on rolling out, mass rolling out to many platforms, a lot of apps, a lot of phones, to really hone in and target advertisement based on your location, your need, and your want. And this brings up an ethical dilemma. Is this an invasion of privacy? Is this right to target ads at an individual based on your browsing history, based on your social media interactions? And again, you can argue this both ways. And one of the biggest arguments is anytime you download an app, go to a website, do anything in the digital realm, at some point in time, there was a README file or end user license agreement that you didn't read and you just hit accept. I don't blame you. Some of these are incredibly long and full of lawyer language that you probably wouldn't understand anyway. But you agreed to it. And then you can argue, well, is it fair to make your average lay individual who does not have a degree in contracts to agree to something like this? I mean, we're setting them up for failure. There's no way your average individual can read 30 pages of an end user license agreement and understand exactly what is happening to their data. So it's interesting. And, we're not going to go into this too much because this is not a business ethics class, but I want this to be a little teaser for you for business ethics. Please read over The Lore of Love Bots, page 42, 43 in your book. It's a quick read. Altogether, it's barely a page and a half. Read over this. Put some time on the questions. Talk to your friends about it. I think this is going to really help you form some thoughts on where you stand in the world of business ethics. If you have any questions about this, about ethics of marketing, AI, anything, please reach out to me. I love to talk about it. Like I said, I wish this could have been a face-to-face interaction, but that's kind of what you give up with an online course. So as always, keep going on. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. Thank you.